Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. I am Rishabh Gulati. March 14, 2025. It shall now go down as a day that will live in infamy. No matter how this plays out, what we have seen is unprecedented. In difficult times, the aphorism goes, cometh the hour, cometh the man. We are also told that all that it takes for evil to triumph is that good people do nothing. A very bold decision has been taken by the Chief Justice of India late on Saturday evening to release to the public in toto all communications in writing, all reports in writing, as well as photographs and videography that have been received by the Commissioner of Police of Delhi, by the court authorities, including the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, and put them into the public domain. This has been the right and honorable thing to do. It is showing that there is intent of transparency and intent of deliberative but decisive action. There are a lot of unknowns and there are a lot of miles to be traveled through the course of events that now transpire. We have to ensure that the dignity of honest judges and the system that has served this country since the time of independence is maintained, but at the same time, not only that action be taken, but action be seen to take. Let's get one of the most eminent legal minds, a person who served in the Delhi High Court, served as Chief Justice of Punjab and Haryana, served as Chief Justice of Madras, and then retired as the second senior most judge in the Supreme Court in December of 2023, Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, joining us on the broadcast. Justice Kaul, obviously unhappy times and troubling times of what we are witnessing. First of all, do you support the decision of the Chief Justice to release to the public all documentation and evidence submitted late last night?
I think this is the correct decision to take because if you see, there was so many speculation going on and everybody wanted to know what is the stand of the Honorable Judge, what has happened, what is the nature of the inquiry which is being held. Difficult times, yes, because it's very easy sometimes to destroy reputations, very difficult to build them. And I still recollect an episode in Delhi High Court which happened when I had just put in maybe about 2 years in as a judge. And we took a long time to live down that. So that's a problematic issue, but I think this is the best way forward.
You know, there are about a couple of months that Justice Sanjeev Khanna has in office before retirement. Justice Gawai then takes over. Then we have Justice Suryakant taking over. We know that, sir, in your time in the Supreme Court, you would rather be spending your energies deliberating on very complex constitutional matters, delivering the judgments in the last few weeks of office that set a precedent, take the country's journey forward. The last thing any Chief Justice would want is something like this to handle. But they also say, sir, cometh the hour, cometh the man. Right person in the job to now traverse whatever comes next?
Well, the challenges come when unexpected happens. And this is an unexpected situation. So I think the collegium has taken the right call. The inquiry as it proceeds, I don't know whether it will be possible to give the report during Justice Khanna's tenure itself. Very difficult to speculate on it, but the collective action is such that there are all the next 2 Chief Justices also there. So there is a continuity of whatever action is required to be taken, and all of them have participated in this process, with of course the Chief Justice at the helm of the affairs.
Justice Kaul, there exists special protection for judges, and those exist for a very good reason. That all rulings, judgments that are made by any constitutional judge in this country can be done without fear or favor, without any pressure, especially that comes from the executive. Now, how do we ensure that I'm assuming this matter will go to Parliament because impeachment proceedings, if indeed thought through, will happen from there. How do we ensure we don't throw out the baby with the bathwater?
See, there is the reason why judges are given this protection. Every day you may have anything from 50 to 100 cases. You have to take a call either in favor or against one of the parties. So you will invariably send 50% of the parties unhappy, broadly speaking. The confidence levels has been such that people easily believe things also. So the idea is the judge should not be under pressure every time to decide what he is doing. And as you rightly said, especially where government is one of the parties. I believe this protection is necessary, but the protection should not be misused, is what I believe you are putting to me. Well, yes, there has to be, I think, a better method to sort out issues like this rather than the impeachment process. That's something which needs to be debated between the judiciary and the legislature as to what can be done, where a quicker remedy is available. But I'm cautioning one thing. In this, let's not say that this particular case, let's not condemn the man at this stage. Let's see what happens, because many things are left unsaid in this scenario of what has happened. The kind of cash figures which were being bandied about uh, doesn't seem possible if you look at the clip or the video, because um, the 500 denomination is the maximum denomination in our country. So you're talking about a 1 CR being equivalent to some 200 gutties. A few burned notes here and there, whether there was a seizure, whether a quantification has taken place, what is the report of the police. A lot of these things will have to be considered by the committee. And the Chief Justice of the High Court has recommended this because he felt that, well, it was maybe an outhouse, but part of the house of the judge, so it requires a further inquiry.
Justice Kaul, the courts obviously are not an investigative agency. They will have to seek the help of an investigative agency, that can be the police or any other agency that they see fit. So how does the process of an in-house inquiry actually function in general?
So let's look at the facts of this case. Now, the inquiry will require the police to come up and say who saw these notes, whether anything was recovered, not recovered, Panchnama prepared or not. If the fire brigade department has taken a video, is this all that has been seen? Something more has been seen. So it's not a very wide, varied interpretation which is required. It is based on a simple fact that there is some money found in a premises of a judge, albeit a outhouse. So I think the inquiry is not so difficult to make. But yes, you are right that some element of investigative agency may be required. I'm not saying is necessarily required in this case. There are other cases where it is required. It is for the committee to take assistance of an investigative agency.
Justice Kaul, in general, when such an inquiry is constituted, how do terms of reference work? What sort of does the Chief Justice of India, does he have to decide, or does the committee itself gets empowered to take decisions on what needs to get done?
No, the Chief Justice appoints the committee. It is for the committee to frame the matters required to be considered and issued. And they will have full freedom to, I think, seek an assistance of an agency if they want. They can examine somebody if they want. This in the peculiar scenario, it can be people from the police services, people from the fire brigade, somebody who's in the house. Judge's stand is already there that he doesn't have anything to do with this. I think one of the crucial issue is this bending of figures. How is one coming to these figures is something which I'm not able to make out. This is, of course, also in the background of the fact, as a lot of people have said, that the particular judge has enjoyed so far a very good reputation, both for work culture and on integrity. So it is very troublesome, personally also to me, that such a scenario should have arisen.
Is anything possible, sir? Could it be conspiratorial or incidental or indeed worse?
I'm not willing to say yes and no to this because uh, the video shows some very smaller amount of burnt notes. That's all. What more is available, one can't say. And see, we are a society where there will always be some black sheep. We say judiciary's role is higher, the integrity level expected is higher, but it also takes its color, I always feel, from the society we live in. So let's look at the society's integrity levels in our day-to-day life, and then seek judging on these issues. Now, if there are judges who have slight deviation, normally this fact comes to light at least within the judiciary. Sometimes when there are problems, the judge is sent from one place to the other. Here, the judge was picked up to be brought to Delhi from Allahabad to perform a task in a larger court. Um, I would like to make a call for and against him till a whole inquiry is made. I think we must wait for it before condemning the man.
In the interim, what happens, sir? Because we know that on Friday we were told that the judge is being transferred, but the nature and the cause of the transfer is not connected to this inquiry. This was a statement issued by the Supreme Court on Friday evening. In the interim, he's obviously not hearing cases, but he continues to remain in office. So what would be proper form in the interim while we wait for the report, which could take several weeks?
See, I really don't know what is the reason for a transfer, but personally speaking, I don't think the transfer would be a solution. Inquiry will be held here. The episode has occurred in Delhi. The person has to be off work, natural consequences, and let the inquiry proceed on that. It does appear that the issue of transfer as yet has not been implemented, especially keeping in mind the inquiry which has been set up.
All right. Like it or not, sir, we are up against the clock because there is going to be a lot of hue and cry from several quarters. A lot of concerns are coming in already. They have happened in Parliament, and I'm assuming they shall continue once it reconvenes tomorrow. How do we then reasonably navigate this? Should we ideally leave this at the door of the Chief Justice to oversee this?
I believe so, yes. The appointment, at least two of the judges appointed are known to me. One has worked with me in Punjab, Haryana. I do believe that the committee will endeavor to conclude it as soon as possible. Please understand the judiciary is a check and balance on the government system. For better words, I'll say this is given another stick to beat the judiciary with by the executive. And because of this episode, without first coming to the truth of it, let's not disturb the whole scenario. Yes, if I've said earlier in public domain that if the issue is whether NJC should be there or not, whether this is the best system or not, whether the NJC required to be read down, as was my belief, which I said after the retirement. Those are things which can, of course, simultaneously be debated. I'm sure there can be, as I said, better methods found out, especially to deal with the scenarios of this nature so that it doesn't go into an impeachment scenario, which has never worked in the country. So far, nobody has been impeached.
Should there be efforts to now develop that in-house mechanism to address these matters, not on an ad hoc basis? I know this is a rarest of rare occurrence, but should we develop that mechanism parallelly to this investigation?
I think yes, because I do believe systems must be in place. Any institution must have established systems in place for all eventualities. The less ad hocism, the better it is. So I think I'm sure the judges of the Supreme Court will debate out in times to come how best such scenarios should be dealt with. There is an established process. Whether that process needs to be fine-tuned, what has to happen where actually there's a truth found in it, can be a better method, but part of it has to be a collaboration between the government and the judiciary to come to a better scenario.
Justice Kaul, couple of more thoughts from you before we wind up this conversation. At a time when the Supreme Court, other than a website in which statements gets published, has no pre-existing mechanism for public outreach, unlike government which has spokespersons or political parties who have spokespersons, and the mechanism in the Supreme Court is not necessarily established as such. When public outreach is required, is there a need now for a mechanism to also inform the public, which is of course under the control and under the jurisprudence of the courts itself?
Well, I do believe there is a mechanism of release. It's not the same way as the government. See, the government has a regular public dealing. So you have spokespersons, you have people who they interact with media. Media interacts with the judiciary in a different manner. It does interact. So maybe in a scenario of social media today, a more improved system is necessary for a prompt response to scenarios which should not spread unnecessary negativism in the public at large.
Both the person at the center of this has the right, of course, to go to the courts, and the courts themselves have the right to restrain reportage, to issue gag orders until an inquiry is completed. They have chosen not to do this. Is that the right decision, sir? Because it risks, of course, some rumor mongering, but at the same time, misinformation can only be fought with information. Would it be better that the matter continue to be reported?
See, I don't know how to say, but the media should also show better responsibility. Some do, some don't, like everything else. If the judiciary restricts us, people will say, oh, you're going to shut out information. If it doesn't do so, as in the present scenario, speculations continue at large. The photograph of the judge is thrown into public domain with all kinds of add-ons to it. It is, after all, if the media is a pillar, the fourth pillar, judiciary is also a third pillar. So it is in the interest of both to respect their respective domains and see to it that it doesn't belittle the institution, is how I would put it. Difficult times produce challenges, and I feel judiciary should be able to come out of these challenges. Of course, there will be a negative people who think everything is wrong in our system, everything is wrong in every system. The whole country is wrong. Now that is very difficult to say, because if that negativism prevails, then we have a problem. After all, the systems do work. We keep on criticizing politicians, executive, judiciary, but things still work. Some people are working. That's why the country runs.
The biggest point of question, Justice Kaul, is that should the judge in question resign, would a resignation be tantamount to acceptance of guilt?
So resign when would be the question. See, if he says that I have done nothing, then at least the inquiry must come to some kind of a conclusion that there is some doubt, even if not a doubt beyond conviction. At which case, yes, I believe rather than go through all this, the judge's position becomes untenable actually to continue. But merely because for a couple of days, this kind of tirade is there in the media, without anybody coming factually to what really happened, will it not be too premature to ask the judge to resign?
All right, fair enough. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, thank you as always for your words of deliberate wisdom on this. We'll have